Welcome back to Double Down University. I'm back at you guys with another college basketball Prizepicks video, and this video is just a two-pick for the early slate, just something to get the juices flowing to get into this long slate that we have. So the first pick I have for you guys is LJ Cryer over 14.5 points. The second one is Trey White over 14.5 PRA. Both games have pretty low spreads. The only spread that's pretty big, in my opinion, is the Baylor spread, which is 10.5. But if you've watched Baylor over the last couple weeks, you know that they've been known to struggle recently. So I think that Santa Barbara should be able to keep this game a little closer than the spread is telling us. So let's get into it. So with the USC versus Michigan State game, USC has a big advantage in the near proximity, so in the post they have a big advantage over Michigan State. They both teams like to shoot mid-range shots a lot. That's where a majority of their points come from. I think with Michigan State, 36% of their points come from mid-range into the basket, so anything from mid-range close to the basket. So I think this is a really good advantage for Trey White, who really, that's all he does is most of his buckets is scoring in the paint or in the post, as well as a little bit of mid-range from like the free throw line, extended free throw line, things of that nature. But his game is rebounds, putbacks, little short jumpers here and there, and then he might get a quick pass or two, assist to his teammates and Boogie Ellis and Drew Peterson. So I really like him in this spot. Over his last 10, he's had a 50% hit rate. Over his last 5, he's 60%. And then over the season, he is a 50% on the season. But I just like this matchup-wise, just from a matchup perspective, not really numbers-wise. His minutes is like 26.9 minutes, 27.3 minutes, 26.4 his last 5. So he's getting good enough minutes. He's not getting great minutes. He's not getting 30-plus minutes a game. But so that's one thing about him. But I really like him. He's a hustle-type player, and I just think he should thrive in this type of environment and this type of matchup as well. So I like his over 14.5 PRA, especially with his rebound potential to be able to get 6 or more rebounds to help out his PRA. And then get about 8 to 10 points on the offensive end as well. So I like him in that matchup. And then with this Baylor and UC Santa Barbara matchup, Baylor has an advantage at all 3 levels: 3-point, mid-range, near proximity. Cryer is a 3-level scorer, so he scores from pretty much any level. He is their most consistent scorer, I would say, out of the bunch of Keontae George and Flagler. Flagler is more of the facilitator. I also like his assist at 4 as well. That's a good play to at least push at 4. I would like it a whole lot better if it was at 3.5. That way you take that push potential out of it. But they should acquire a lot of free throw chances in this matchup, which will help Cryer's point total, as UC Santa Barbara is 153rd in the country and defensive free throw attempt rate. So I really like them in this matchup to be able to get whatever they want offensively against this team. But UC Santa Barbara, they're a pretty efficient team. As you can see, their field goal percentage is 16th in the country at 48% from the field. So they should be able to keep this game close by just being able to knock down jumpers when they need to be able to keep this close. And then we can kind of look at Mr. Cryer's numbers. Let's see. He had his PRA. Let's look at his points. So his points, he's hitting at a 55% hit rate of going over this line of 14.5. His last 10, he is 50%, and then his last 5, he is a 40%. So, but his minutes is there. He's 32 minutes, 34 minutes, or 33.4 minutes, and then last 5 is 36 minutes. So he's one of the older players on this team. Him and Flagler, so they should get a bulk of the minutes. They're the most experienced guards in this lineup or in this team, so they should get a large portion of their minutes. And then they also, when Baylor plays, they stagger Cryer and Flagler's minutes a lot. So whenever Cryer comes out, Flagler take on the point guard role, and then vice versa when they take Flagler out. Or they'll delegate to like Keontae George a little bit and let him. But he's more of a scorer than anything. He's not really too much of a point guard. So I really like him in this matchup. I think he steps up on the stage. The stages are going to be too big for him because he's been here before. So I really like those 2 picks in the early slate. Cryers points at over 14.5. Trey White over 14.5 PRA. Two more leans that I like for you guys for the early slates. If you want to play something else and add something to your cards, is I really like this Flagler's assist at 4, which I talked about, and then as well as I really like Joey Hauser's points under 15.5. Even though he's one of their main scorers, I think that 15.5 might be too much for him, especially going up against a pretty elite rim protecting USC team. As you can see, they have an advantage mid-range and near proximity, but Michigan State is one of the top team in the country in 3-point percentage. So if he knocks down multiple triples and stuff, that could kind of hurt his point total. But I just think it's probably too high for him at 15.5. Let me see. I don't know if you guys are too big on like discrepancies with like sports books and how they set their lines and everything on these players. Sometimes they could be off. I don't really base my opinion off of just lines and things of that nature, because as you can see, like he's the favorite for the over at 14.5, but we're getting a point of value at 15.5. So he could just sit at 15 and not touch 16. So that could be the case, but that's just something to play, something that I've seen that you're getting a little bit of value on. So those are my 2 for you guys for the early slate. I appreciate you guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.